Notacon.
Those of you with an overwhelming fear of the unknown will be gratified to learn that there is no intended hidden message but revealed by reading this warning backwards, so just ignore that alert notice from Microsoft. However, by pouring a complete circle of salt around yourself and your computer, you can ensure that no harm will befall you and even your pets. Your mileage and satisfaction may vary. Not all warranties apply during the time frame. Yeah, okay, for you guys recording it. I'm not going through all of it. Just a little humor saying that this is me, my own words, my thoughts, and on the whole situation. I speak for no one, and no one else can certainly speak for myself. That's entirely up to you, sir. Whether you decide to click whatever button you want, and So, let me request for everyone to please turn off or set your personal communication devices to vibrate as a courtesy to everyone else. Otherwise, if it rings during this presentation, you will be buying me a drink at the bar of my choosing. And it's not going to be Bud Light. Okay, my previous job that I just left, I was the IT guy for a federal government library. And who was just ringing? Okay. At this particular library, I got stuck being the administrator of the library system. And one of the cool things about this library system is that there was a good community of other system administrators, other librarians that were tasked with keeping the system going to help each other out. Real good that we were all helpful, all looking at talking and helping pass information around. Bad because a lot of times the system vendor would say, oh, we don't know, go ask the users group mailing list. From the overall tone on the mailing list, there weren't that many people that had a good grasp on information security, thought, hey, it's just a library system, who really cares, etc., etc. Well, sitting down and getting some requests from other people in the community saying, Tim, Irish, can you put something together for the next users group conference about security in the library system? So after a few beers and talking with some friends, we all know that every system can be exploited one way or another. Can I put something together in an hour to get these librarians, from the ones that are technically savvy to the ones that are still bitched and complaining that they got rid of their card catalogs because that's what they've been used to understand what's the problems, what's the real concerns about the situation. Through some of my research, I found out that the company that develops this library system does not have any security people, don't have anybody doing code reviews. I found this out because, one, I was looking for a job. Two, because of some of the concerns that I had through some of the stuff I ran into. Finally got through to one of the HR folks. She gave me this big long line of spiel. Oh, we don't have somebody that does that. We'd have to go to the corporate headquarters over in Europe, get a bill to sign, pretty much giving me this big snow job, which I didn't enjoy. Another reason why this presentation, shortly before this, I got some email sent to me to one of my personal accounts from somebody's Hotmail account, giving me some grief about some assistance, some answers that I posted to the users group mailing list. From some of the things that were said and some of the other indicators I put together, it was one of the guys that worked on a support staff at the vendor, thinking they were all smart and dandy. I was also frustrated with the situation as a whole in regards to the system issues, concerns, the non-responsiveness from the vendor when I brought issues up on the mailing list or directly. And also I was in the process of migrating the platform that we were on from Windows NT to a Sun Solaris platform, which it deserved to be on for a plethora of different reasons, which is totally another presentation entirely. And I want to know some specifics in regards to how it worked, because the two different platforms, the way they had their application set up, were totally different. And I want to know some specifics, and it wasn't documented on our support site at all. So I figured, hey, let me put this presentation together and do some of this research so I can know more of what's going on and share it with the community. I also did not feel that the system was privacy friendly. Kind of gut feeling from some of the stuff I had run across and tried dealing with while being an administrator and trying to do some of the stuff that my staff and my library director asked me to work on, while getting the system configured and set up to a way that we wanted it to be, and also in that our customers expected it or wanted it to be. And this is more of a way, the way the database stored information, the way it did or did not purge it, and I wanted to be able to research this further. In with also helping heighten the information security awareness within the library system community. You know, for example, people were posting little Perl scripts or PHP scripts and other stuff that people had used to enhance the library system because the vendor wasn't doing it. And they would post the script and it would have user ID and password embedded in it for it to log into the Oracle database to pull the information out. Not the smartest thing, just gut feeling, you know. So I became a little bit more involved on the mailing list, and when I saw stuff like that, typing up, and, you know, hey guys, you really don't want to do this, and this is why. And here's some web references and websites that you should probably go read as to why. And this new system that we were also upgrading to when I migration to Sun platform, now it comes with encryption. And that's kind of how the vendor was playing it off, but not saying a word about what the specifics were, other than, well, it encrypts all the data between the client and the server, and you won't have to worry about blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no. The only thing I could find out is that the vendor developers developed their own encryption. Yeah, that's kind of what we were assuming, that, yeah, we'll just do XOR and nobody will know. We'll say it's encrypted. Yeah, you lying sacks of crap. I opened quite a few support tickets on this issue, and it got to the point where the head of the support department just went ahead and closed them because they didn't want to deal with it. I also asked some friends and associates that worked with the company, and pretty much was stonewalled on this whole issue. And I had hoped to test and examine this so-called encryption standard, but unfortunately the timing that I got into in regards to this, which I'll touch on in a little bit, it wasn't feasible at all. Wasn't aware of anybody else doing any sort of research or any of this sort of projects in regards to this. And I wanted to help back with the community because they helped me so much, because when I first got into the job, hey, I'm just an IT guy. I've used libraries, but I have not a clue about library systems. And there were other individuals on the mailing list that had helped me out tremendously that are now looking to me at regards to security stuff. And, you know, it seemed like a fun project to work on, and I always enjoyed going to the Windy City every April to party my brains out. I mean, attend this conference. Okay. What is an ILS? Well, it's an integrated library system that has everything, quote unquote, everything that you would need to operate and manage a library. And I say, quote, everything, because what's the difference between a software salesman and a hardware salesman? Hardware salesman knows when they're lying. And this was very true, because the first 6 months to a year and a half that I worked there, my boss would be like, well, the salesman said, and they said this would, yeah. For personal reference, I'm going to give a plug to the guys at COA, www.koha.org, which is an open source integrated library system they've been working on for a little while. It looks like a pretty interesting project. So, summer 2003, I kind of mulled over what my friends in the community had asked of and said, okay, let me go talk with the boss. And she was actually, well, to my face, said that she was in support of this project and presentation. So I submitted my proposal, and the committee chairperson for the technical track, who was actually a friend of mine, called me and she's like, Tim, what's this little disclaimer on the bottom? What are you talking about needing approvals? And I explained to her, and she's like, oh, I'll have to call you back. So I got somebody from the company that called and explained to her what was going on, and it took a little bit to get everybody verbally saying, yeah, sure, we want to bless this. And then talking with some friends, they're like, you might want to get some legal paperwork to CYA. So to cover my ass, I pulled out my stack of business cards and contacted somebody that I had talked to at the EFF. Sent her an email. She emailed me back. She's like, not a problem. And within like 2 weeks, she'd put together like not even a full page of, you know, let this gentleman do whatever you want in support of this presentation. We're not going to get him on DCMA, the hacker laws, or any other garbage. And the vendor signed off. And my boss signed off. I'm like, woohoo! Giddy up, this is going to work. So then I waited for the test box to be configured up for me that they were going to host up in their facility, and I would do my scans and whatnot from wherever I was at. And I waited. And I waited. And about 2 weeks before, they're like, okay, the box is ready. Thanks. So we troubleshoot some connectivity issues and figure out what's going on. And then I do a look. And the only thing that's on there is the base Solaris install, not the application. Hadn't done any patches. I call him up. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? My exact words. Sorry about that. Let me get the slide back to where it should be. Stupid thing. Okay, so yeah, pretty much I freaked out. You know, what the hell am I going to present on when they're not even giving me anything to do the testing on, and I'm going to have like absolutely nothing. And he's like, oh, you needed the application too? What are you talking about? That's not what we talked about. You lying crap. Yeah, well, we don't have time for that. We're working on so much other stuff. You're going to have to deal with what we gave you. What about this document that you signed? Yeah, click. So I went and talked to the boss, and I sent a couple emails, and the flame war was working back and forth. I'm like, okay, I had enough of this. I called this guy's boss, who I had talked to months before, saying everything was working fine, and said, ma'am, you're not going to have a presentation at this conference because you're not giving me what I needed. Oh, by the way, you're not giving me what this legal document said you were going to give me either. Oh, okay. Let me get a call back. And wouldn't you know it, an hour and a half later, the application was installed in that box. Yeah. But by the time all this happened, I had a week to do my assessment, go through everything, and put the presentation together, and then submit it so they could do all the publishing garbage for the conference, along with, you know, the rest of my life. So I did what I could. I threw the presentation together, and I actually gave the presentation in April 2004. What a mess. So at this point, let me go through some of the stuff that I went over with them. Some of you that were here at Notacon last year got to see part of that presentation as an impromptu because somebody canceled out. I've been wondering if you had been or not. That's good. Glad you shared that. So as